I have to say nice things about you.
I was thinking about cutting my sound so you could talk without I can hear what you're talking about.
Yeah, you should. You should cut it.
Probably should.
Yeah.
Go away.
That way we're free to comment on coaching and ideas.
And then you can just people can watch
not
my
worry
face
we're giving
instead
them
of try to get what I'm saying.
My view's always been, look, it's
Well-
always been possible in Blood Bowl for someone else to coach you by watching it in any form of Blood Bowl online. But if you're that sad, then that's fine with me. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with whoever's secretly coaching you.
I think KFoged has to be more worried about me constantly trolling him for the next.
Well,
that's a reason to cut out the sound as well.
Absolutely is.
it's not going to take anyone much to coach better than me. So let's.
Every time he clicks a player, I'm just going to go.
Yeah, what's that? Oh, wait, why is he doing that?
Oh, that's brave.
Cool.
So, how are you feeling about it? Are you confident about this game, Food?
What is ever playing against? Playing Pro Elves. It's
That's a no.
No, it's Khemri. If I can pick up the ball, I think I'm fine.
Yeah, don't leave it on the ground. That's my top tip. I'll give you that one for free.
Oh, I hope it rains. I hope it rains the whole game.
Cool. I'll hang my headset.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Good luck, mate. So we have food against Ever.
He genuinely has put that headset down.
Well, see, normally I would go into Cabal TV in Blood Bowl and watch the game there because it's a bit faster. But I'm really interested in just watching his facial expression.
We can read him as well as reading the pitch, or try to
predict the dice rolls based on his face. See you later, Jag.
Gosh, what a lot of Pro Elves.
I know, right? It's just when I saw them in the rule set, I thought, oh, pros will probably be okay. And then I saw how many have signed up to this, and then I thought, okay, I need another look. And yeah, it's like when you get a rule set that is 1.15 with 8 skills, maybe one double in there, and you just know all the necromantic players are just rubbing their hands together. It's that sort of thing, like you say. I think it is. We'll see all the necromantic fall away, and we'll see all the pro elves coming back.
Well, I mean, necromantic, they're very much the 2019 team, aren't they? I mean, even 2018, they were just everywhere. All sorts of people were experimenting with them and getting some great results. And even in some tabletops, they moved tier because of that.
Yeah.
Or were re-tiering them slightly higher just to dissuade the number that was starting to come. I don't mind that. Anything that breaks up the Wood Elf, Dark Elf, Undead, and Lizard pack up at the top of the rankings.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting how when it's the other way round and rule sets don't favour a certain team, tournament organisers still seem very reluctant to drop them a tier. For a long time, I thought that Orcs are, for many tournament builds, not that good. More tier 2 than tier 1, or maybe a tier 1.5 alongside Necromantic.
Yeah.
And then occasionally you get one which is a horror show for them. Like as soon as it starts moving up to 1.15, Orcs can't really bring anything else to help. And you always think they should be maybe tier 2 and get a couple extra skills. Because then your elves are just going crazy. Your necromantics are coming in.
Yeah.
Your Amazons are fitting Roxy in no problem and having a bench.
I mean, I guess I'm one of those people that didn't like the look of rule sets when we started to see maybe 7 tiers.
Yeah.
But actually, I mean, if they're nicely done, and sometimes only 10 or 20 between them, they can really make just a few more things look interesting, and I'm all in favour of that. The one I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
this
agree.
weekend only has, I think it has 10 teams at Tier 1.
This is the Talk Knuffle.
Yeah. So you've got Skaven, Orcs, Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves, all at the same 5 basic skills that Wood Elves and Dark Elves get.
Yeah.
And they're really hard to love
Yep.
up against that.
Yep. Agreed.
And I'd actually like to see more Skaven. I think Skaven particularly could use a little bit of love in some tiering. Because
Yeah,
I
agreed.
don't see them a lot.
Yeah,
And
for
then
me, they're the
humans are getting a
kind of
20k bonus. And you think, well, Norse and Amazon aren't. So again, Norse and Amazon are a little hard to justify against a Wood Elf or a Dark Elf choice.
well, that's it. I think the teams that are tier 1 but at the bottom of it, like your orcs, not orcs necessarily, sorry, more like Skaven, Chaos Dwarves, tend to not be seen as much because then the ones that are just worse get the boost and then jump ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dwarves hang out in that interesting hinterland where they're not quite as bad as a tier 1 at, say, Chaos Dwarves, but they're nowhere near as good as, say, Dark Elves and Wood Elves.
Yeah.
I went to a tournament where they had 6 as opposed to Woody and Dark Elves 5 skills, and that felt not so bad. It still didn't, make people more desperately want them. But Amazon's again got that same little boost.
Well, I think often when I'm looking at kind of what makes a tier 1 team, one of the things that seems very common is having 6 of block and dodge in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
That seems to be very common. But the other one seems to be having access to a 100k or better player on your team. So like Dark Elves having Witch Elves, for example,
Yep.
and Chaos Dwarves having Ball Centers.
Yeah.
And you just feel that there are a few teams that don't really have that until, of course, someone like Bo Galante comes along.
Oh, here we go. Interesting. Very early reroll gone with a triple die there, coming up with a skull and 2 both.
That's an injury.
But he gets the injury, so that's probably a reasonable trade-off for the reroll. But there's so many elves. He needs to kill the whole nest.
He needs to kill 8 more.
Well, why not? That's what they're for. Pointy-eared little fuckers.
Is that why you play dwarves? It's mainly.
I play all sorts, but I'm probably best known for dwarves. I used to play Chaos Dwarves almost exclusively, and then they became the team of the idiot choice when suddenly they could get claw and pile on all the time.
Yeah.
And so I sort of fell out of love with them. They stopped being an interesting mixed team and became a one-trick pony.
Well, I think especially at the time when there was a lot of black box and you saw the kind of the one ball center build just to kind of get that TV right down.
Oh, disgusting.
Up. Oh, what, sending off already?
Yep.
Filth.
It was 3 assists. It was a reasonable go for a foul and to try and get 2 men up early. But instead, it's back to even numbers. But the ball's in his hand. And I think, he's lost a reroll, even numbers and ball in hand. I'm sure he'd have taken that.
Food is filth, though, so you just have to bear that in mind.
The problem with Chaos Dwarves isn't that they're not beautiful and can't do wonderful things. It's that really to make them effective, it's lovely to have 2 skills on a bull.
Yeah.
And you can't.
Yeah.
In most rule sets, you can't. And even when you can, it costs you so much to do it that you end up with very little elsewhere.
And even then, I still don't think they're top of the tree. Even if you allowed it just for them, sort of thing, amongst tier 1, I think it elevates them to just below your lizards, dark elves, wood elves, undead, but still behind.
I think we're going to have to see some real shake up in the tiering for wood elves, dark elves, undead, and lizards not to still be really competitive. They just are.
Well, that's one of the things. As much as we are all concerned about major shake-up to the rules, one of the things I find that makes so many other gaming communities so active is the changes, because every time a change happens, there's obviously a huge amount of buzz around it. And
sure,
I often think about Guild Ball as a good example of how often they change and tweak the rules and change players, and actually it generates a lot of interest. A lot of the conversations for Blood Bowl have been had 100 times.
Yes.
So you either need a major shake-up to the tiering system, or you need a few different rosters, or you need a couple of rule changes. So yeah, I agree. I think we do need a bit of a shake-up.
Maybe we need more Weeping Dagger type skills.
Uh,
So the elves are basing up there, trying to get something on the ball, but they couldn't get a second person there, so it's not that difficult to remove it.
I'm generally not a fan of the passive skills.
Yeah, what your diving tackles and shadowing.
The ones like they're not too bad in the sense that you still have to be kind of active to use them. The ones which don't really change the way you play, they just do something on top, like Weeping Daggers. It's like no one would
That's
ever
terrible.
play to use Weeping Daggers, and then it just does something. You're a bit like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, the work that I think Weeping Dagger may be the worst skill in Blood Bowl right now because it does nothing positive for you.
Worse than Pass Block. That is quite a testimony.
Well, of course, Chameleon Skinks have brought Pass Block to the floor for.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, with Weeping Dagger, its only use is in League.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't help you, it hinders your opponent in his next match, which may hinder you. You may need your opponent.
Exactly, yeah.
You dangerous. So, what a terrible, terrible skill.
Yeah.
I mean, laughably bad. But I hope they've learned a lesson from that. Now, is he going to close this? No, he's going to trap those two elves in a Chinese cage with one either side of them, so they've got to dodge out on a 3+2+. There's one sidestepper down at the back, but even up, he's not in danger to the ball, and the ball is behind two lovely Tomb Guardians, so I bet he's very happy with this position. Do you think we'll see a foul on that elf on the edge?
Not unless he's men
There's
up.
no real need, is there?
Yeah. I think he can pressure it by maybe tagging him next turn. And I think Food's happy to foul when he's up, but when he's even...
Yeah, you don't want to be suddenly one short, particularly against elves. It's nice to be up numbers against elves. They're so blooming agile. And we're getting some walling up going on. He's going to try and get everyone back the right side of the ball, I think, rather than attack the cage from the rear. Yeah.
I think that's attritional as well. I think it's okay to be a little bit aggressive, but if you're aggressive every single turn...
Well, particularly with the AB7s, that's you just can't. You've got to pick your moments. When I had some success on Fumble with Pro Elves, and sometimes it does feel like the Judea Suicide Squad. You have to just pick a time in the game where you don't mind if you're going to lose 5 elves because it will win you the game. And if you pick the wrong time, you'll lose 5 elves, and then you've got 4 elves left, and they've still got the ball and lots of players, and you're completely screwed.
Well, that's it. If you can put pressure on the ball, I think I've always said pressure on the ball saves elves' lives. Because if your player's not thinking about just hitting you,
they're
worried about reforming their cage, you can get away with it a little more. But yeah, this is looking pretty comfortable for Food. He'll probably want to centralize a little bit, not get bogged down on the edge. Well, I'm not sure I agree with that move. I think that elf still dodges out, kind of traps one.
Yes, I think is he going to try and push the cage right up onto an elf?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, he's blitzing up there. Okay. Yeah, you're right. He's centralizing, which is no surprise. It's horrible being trapped on the edge, and obviously elves can wall up with much fewer if they're only trying to defend half the pitch.
Yeah.
Just got a lone skeleton keeping that one elf on the edge, so that's going to try and dodge out when the Tomb Guardian moves, of course. Now, is he going to... Yes, he is. Oof. getting as much contact as he can do without putting anything at risk. Even a 2-die uphill there doesn't actually create a bull shot, so...
Yeah, it's pretty safe, this.
It's pretty safe, and for 3 turns, he's already over the halfway line. That's great stuff. But we've still got 4 mobile elves that aren't in contact. I think we're probably just going to see a skeleton hit and another wall, probably saving the one on the edge somehow, getting that back into the action. Yes, Madara, as we noticed, yes, it is pro elves without Eldra, which is one way to build them. As you see, he's gone really deep. There's 2 elves on the bench, so he's trying to make sure there's always elves. Oh, Justicium's joined us. I wonder if he heard me saying some things about his coaching. So yeah, getting that sidelined elf back into the action. And yes, closing the hole when the place I was going to look to go. It's always the last elf that goes the place you were going to go. And that's, of course, exactly why.
What a teaser.
There's still probably room for a move up the left or the right, but it's going to take a power to do it. Or does he just settle for rolling forward and create some contact?
Well, I think what Ever's done well here is he's made sure that his elf line is straight, so there's no opportunity to kind of try and half trap one with a side contact.
Yeah. So he's just going to push straight down the middle. Trying to keep those backfield elves honest at the same time. I like that. There's no real hurry, and you can afford to just create that basing up.
I think this is one part of the game Food's really good at is you can be very methodical. He very rarely kind of gets overexcited or rushes into things. It kind of matches his personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's very calm, just looks at what's ahead of him and just kind of slowly crushes you.
Well, at the moment, I think that he's in a fantastic position. He's 3 steps over the halfway line. He's almost within range. And if he can just keep rolling a step or 2 for a couple more turns, at some point he's probably going to have to either go around the side of the wall or break into it and get a casualty or something. I mean, that stun is useful, but it's not ideal. But at the moment, I don't see a lot of threat to him. The elves aren't doing much that's worrying. They're not pulling the cage apart. They're not deforming it. And there we go. He's finally got every elf back now, apart from the 2 that are trapped. One of them, I think, will just dodge off. And then I'd do the 3+2+ as well.
Yeah. And also, Food actually doesn't want to be too far upfield. He doesn't want to kind of rush things and get ahead.
No, yeah, absolutely. Even with the amount of strength you've got, if you get even one or two of your better players separated, you can suddenly find that things turn bad with one turn of rough dice.
Yeah.
But he's made enough
Sometimes not even
progress.
rush,
He can
just
stay
like
still for a turn or two, it'll be all right.
2 or 3 pushes in a row, and your position just bogs down.
Yeah.
I think the worst one is if you hit someone with block and you roll double both down. And that really that's just killed the whole momentum of this particular attack direction.
Yeah. One thing I do find frustrating about spectating streams is that you're always left with what other people are choosing to look at.
Oh, we'll
Okay,
go.
so we've got the elf deep, which is interesting. He's put one downfield, which is always nice.
Just load.
Just reminding.
Go load your Blood Bowl 2 client back up and click Cabal TV.
Yeah, I sometimes have done that, but the problem with that is that the Blood Bowl 2 client does make my laptop run ever so hot. So I like to get a break between games and things if I can. I mean, I've got I sit. It's got reasonable fans in it, and I sit it on top of a laptop cooling block as well. But
sometimes laptops just do run a bit hot, don't they?
Yeah, it does just run a bit hot running Blood Bowl. But I like to not do it for hours on end.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And then also you can't see the exciting comments from the other lovely people, or can you? Is it the same as Twitch?
Well, I load it in a. I just load it in a window.
Right.
So I have Twitch loaded, and then put the Cabal TV kind of over the top of the screen, so I can still see guys chatting on the side and responding to their comments and insulting Mars. That's kind of the main reasons I'm here. Which is a point. We need to check the Rangers score.
Well, I do have the Arsenal game up in a separate window, so I am keeping an eye on my beloved Geekers, who are, as always, letting me down.
Frustrating couple of seasons for you guys.
Yes, I mean, clearly, but I'll say the same about Arteta that I said about Emery in the first season. All I want to see is, by the end of this season, a sense of where we're going to go, what we're trying to be. I don't even mind if we miss Europe. I just want to have some belief in a direction for the team again.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that under Emery. I was starting to see some signs of it under Arteta, so there's a lot of hope in the spectators.
Takes a little while though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm realistic about it. I don't expect us to win every single season. I just want us to get back to looking like we're trying to be competitive. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2 out. So we've given up on the deep elf, haven't we? He ran back up.
Yeah.
I suppose there's time that if the ball pops, they could run it and throw it and then run and pick it up. It's a lovely elf trick. Okay, here we go. They're taking on a Tomb Guardian with a 1 die, and it's gonna work. So he has finally decided he's going to try and mess with the cage, though quite a long way from the ball, interestingly.
Oh. And then the next 1 die does not work.
No, well, it's asking a lot. I mean, the first one was obviously block against no block, so that's a 50% success.
Yeah.
1 in 3 push and only 1 skull. But then we had wrestle against. So still reasonable odds, but the skull came.
It's a bit of a problem now. We've got 2 elves trapped. One is going to be hit though and released.
Yeah, it is time to start making those couple of extra steps. Oh, the ball's only going 1. That's interesting. It is now in range, which is a little mental marker I always set for myself.
Yeah.
If there was nothing in the way and I used all my go for it, could I score? And the answer now is yes, which is always a really good place to be. I don't use the word bash, I think it's pejorative, as a strength-based roster.
I always like to be one ahead of that because I always...
Yeah, look, I like to be 3 ahead of that.
Well, sure, yeah, but...
I like to be right on the line with 8 dwarves stood between me and them.
My benchmark is always to assume they can at least push me back 1 square.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And,
because you just get in range, you think, right, I'm good, and then they push you 1 square and you're like, oh god, where am I going to get this chain from?
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things that I think... I do think my online game has upped a little bit since I've been in tabletop. There are some things tabletop players are much more used to doing that people just don't do online. And that's one of the things, is risking just getting that push to push someone 1 step further away.
Yeah.
Is sometimes as good as taking the ball down.
So this cage is a bit looser. He's gone for a more interesting Vengabus style approach.
Yeah, I mean, I liked what the elves did with the Wonder. I thought it was the right time. And it's done exactly what the elves want, which is it's tied up some material away from the main just at the time where the ball really wants to be moving forward. So it was timed, I think, really, really well. And now the question is, can he hold that material over there, without putting too much at risk? Can he knock something over or just tie enough up that the Khemri don't quite have the easy advance they want? Or they maybe have to take a risk and allow a possible chance at a 1 die or even a 2 die uphill. I'm not so good with the icons. What is that the ball carrier has? Is it sure hands or leader or what? It's a sort of looks like a barrel. The Khemri ball carrier. What skill is that denoting? B. Must be block. Of course.
He's got block. He's got block. Who's got the letters?
Yes, of course.
Got the letters. Okay.
So
just block.
Yeah, I'm trying not to coach as much dwarves on tabletop because they're just not competitive. I mean, I'm not bad with them, but there's a limit to how good they can ever be against some of the really top teams. You've got to get lucky to beat wood elves or dwarves.
Well, I think dwarves especially good in team tournaments when a draw is not a bad result, but it's very hard to win a tournament dwarves because
that's absolutely.
You're always going to get a couple of draws along the way. You'll get a good average, but you won't get the little spike you need to win a tournament.
Yes, so I've found that at lots of tournaments I'm placing very high. I'm doing well because I'm a reasonable dwarf coach, but I don't feel winning them is particularly in reach as dwarves. And I think one of the things I've been contemplating is I've been taking block on my ball carrier because I do end up often facing wood elves. I do well enough to end up against some of the top races usually. And it's nice to have against those teams that are going to get to your ball no matter what you do. But otherwise it really can be dead TV. And it's a worry when you only get, say, 5 skills that you're using one on something you're probably never going to use.
Well, I found probably from having played Lizard so much that I've the approach I take is to assume that dice will always happen and the ball will always go down.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's around placing, controlling which direction the ball's going to be knocked down in, forming that little net behind.
Yeah. Yes, I did once do I think it was a physical blog rather than the podcast, where I talked about how what seemed to be going wrong mostly for me was that I was losing to 2 die against on my ball carrier. And I think it was Gegster who pointed out, well then, what are you doing to ensure that when that comes, you're ready for it? I thought that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because if that's the only thing they can do, then of course they're going to try and do that.
They're going to try it. That's it. And
so
actually,
a chance it works. Are you ready for if it works?
Yeah.
And if not, you haven't planned properly.
That's quite often, tagging someone up. You think you've done really well. You've tagged the ball carrier. You do it every time, but 8 out of 9 times they just get away. So you're like, oh, well, actually, that wasn't that good. It feels good, but it goes wrong quite often.
Yes, against the Orcs, I had if anyone's still watching from that, I don't know why you would. Interesting game. But I had a moment where I could have, the 2 go for it's got a 1 die on the ball carrier who didn't have block. And I chose not to, because even if I got it down, it wasn't going to go anywhere useful to me.
Yeah.
And it was going to completely screw my position to do it. And sometimes you've got to think, well, even if that works, is it actually going to help?
Yeah.
And there was a really good chance someone else picked it up, and that the hole I would create to make it
That's
happen, they just ran through. And then you're like, well, great, I got the ball down, but I'm now screwed.
Yeah.
Except elves, of course, who, if they get the ball down, can always get someone there, even if it's a 4+, 3+. That always seems to work for them. So it's one of the joys of elves, is you are squishy as hell, but you can do magic. Right, so he used the go for it. He got the Khemri down the side. I think they're going to score. I don't see how the elves stop them now, really.
No, it's a well managed turn. I think Ever's caught in that horrible position of do you try and stop the score, or do you just kind of accept it will happen but not lose players in the process?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the bench, so I'm not sure he's that worried about losing, so why? Still going to have 11 no matter what.
But as opposed to like pressing 9 in one turn.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still liked when he went for it. I thought that was a good idea, but it didn't work out for him. Too many elves went down. He needed a couple of pushes on turn and didn't get them. Look how many elves. So I still think, I mean, sometimes you do the right thing and it doesn't work. He's still got a chance here of building a wall. 2 go for it, gets that one in behind, and then
it all goes wrong.
Some more elves can go with it. Oh, he's not moving it any further. Oh.
The dodge has failed.
And the dodge fails.
There's a big old central gap now that...
Yeah, it's... It's a question of which of the many available gaps do you want to make sure you're using.
Well, I think he can just get a 3 dice on the Garda with the Tomb King. Unless he wants to blitz it, maybe with someone that's got block. Probably safe, though, isn't it?
Yes, I'd be wanting to hit it with block, but it's... I mean, particularly as he only really needs to move it, doesn't he? He doesn't need it necessarily to go down.
5, 6, 2 more assists. He's just getting that one out of the way. Not sure why he's basing someone up on turn 8.
No, it does just need to be out of the way, but I guess it's always good policy to move things to the right places, but yeah. And I suppose you've got to think, if it does fail, do I want hitting people? There's considerations like that. Right, he just needs this to be a push. And he's in like Flint.
And he gets the...
And he gets the power.
Bonus gratuitous KO.
Lovely.
What a filthy player through these.
Now, if both KOs fail both rolls, we might only see 10 elves. He has bought the whole nest, hasn't he? Why? He's not doing anything other than scoring, is he? Is he blitzing?
I think he's blitzing. I think he's going for the
blitzing.
Greed blitz. He's going for the Greed blitz. And it's another KO.
Oh, that's filthy.
He's a bad human being.
He is. That was a terrible thing to do. Although I do it all the time myself.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I should just score if I've got rerolls. If I'm a strength-based roster, and I have rerolls and a block to hit with, and nice things to hit, I will hit them.
Even Justy is booing KFoged on that one.
Well, I hope you're saying the play was ugly rather than the commentary. I mean, I suppose he's also got to think there are a lot of elves, so he really needs to get some elves off pitch, because stopping them scoring might be tricky, unless there's very few, and there isn't very few.
I think this is one of the big mismatches in Blood Bowl. I think both sides find it very hard to stop the other one from scoring. I think they don't at all neutralise each other.
No, and it's not surprising to see the Khemri drive in it. It really is. The big question of this match is always going to be the second half, isn't it? First of all, is how many elves are left.
Yeah.
And without Eldril, 13 elves means there was a good chance of 11, and there will be. And then the second question is, do the elves score early and hope for a misfield? Or do they just wait it out and try and score late? And if so, can enough elves stay on to make that easy to do? I mean, elves can definitely score in 2 or 3 turns if they really put their mind to it. But do they want to?
Well, I think with the league points being 2-1-0 rather than 3-1-0.
Yes, it does prioritise draws as a good thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Interestingly, when I grew up, European football was mostly 2 points for a win, and it was only British football that was 3 points. And now almost everyone's 3 points, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Certainly Italian football in the days of Football Italia. Go Lazio! Certainly that was 2 points.
Italian football needs all the help it can get.
Well, I think the European Super League, though it's like my grandmother dying, who's now 100. I've thought for 20 years the Super League is imminent, and it just isn't, is it? It just never happens. It never quite comes about.
I think the Champions League sort of gave people enough of that.
And UEFA keep putting more and more money into the top teams to stop them breaking away. But can Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, can they really resist? Because their leagues are just not... I don't know.
So the kick's pretty good for the elves, nice and central.
Yep.
Now, Ever's gone for complete disconnection.
Yes.
I would have put one elf
So would I.
facing the 3, because if it was a blitz...
Yeah, you've got 3 Tomb Guardians wandering up into your backfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. One little elf there keeps them honest for the cost of a 2+.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to do it. And then I don't mind that he's put everything else where it is.
Apart from, I would put one guy probably forward left in the wide zone.
Yeah, me too. So
again, stop a blitz.
Well, the one that's 3 back in the middle, I don't think he's doing very much. I think he could be out in the wide zone and then 1 elf on the 3 Tomb Guardians. And I still think you've then got pretty much the same options.
Yeah, agreed.
Your screen should still be just as solid. They do get all the skills, these elves, don't they? There's thousands of them and they're all skilled. It's ridiculous. It's a good job they die like flies, except when they don't. And they didn't first half, so... Yeah, as we've already said, there is probably no way to stop them scoring in 2 from here. I think even the way... Of course, this is the bonus turn, isn't it? What am I talking about?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Forget everything. Jesus.
Yeah, forget everything we've said. We're both idiots.
God. Okay,
so we're going to see a foul. Although we didn't. Yeah, second half.
We're obviously
that's what you should have done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Definitely. Let's retcon that.
Didn't happen. I thought the whole
in
point
that
of this
case,
was
why didn't he
just... if it was, but it's not.
Why didn't he try a sneaky 1 die on a Tomb King? Because you could have blitzed one of the skeletons away to give you the 3 assists.
Yeah.
So you actually would have had 2 dice.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems possible. I think he just saw the chance to get that 1 wide Tomb Guardian down and went hell for leather for it and was then going to set up a multi-assist foul. I think that's what we were seeing there. And it was the one dominant thought. Right, so this is the start of the second half. And again, we've got a very, very long side of it. Again, he's going to look to get down that edge, except this time instead of fouling a Tomb Guardian, it's obviously going to be for the quick score. He's very much set up for that. I think if you're looking for the draw at this point, you set up to suck them into the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you go quite central, a couple of blitz defenders, and you just like ride it out for 5 turns with minimal damage, and then just sneak someone through.
Yeah.
If you want to go for the win, you do this.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the right call as well. Game 1 of a season. You're the elves. He hasn't managed to take enough elves out. You know you can get 1-1, and then with this many elves, there's all sorts can happen. You know, a misfield on the ball, and you can get all sorts of trouble for the Khemri. So I think going for win is
great, isn't it? Like the Khemri, if he goes 1-1 in a couple of turns, and then the Khemri defending, and there's a pitch invasion.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the elves are running riot.
Well, pitch invasion, blitz, misfield. There's so many good options. And then, of course, there's also perfect defense. Now, there's times against less experienced players, I don't mind pulling perfect defense because it means they pull apart their defense and give me really easy options to go forwards. But here, I doubt he's going to do that. He's too good a player. Though, I'm not loving this at the moment. Yeah, I was going to say, those Tomb Guardians do need some reinforcing up in there. Otherwise, there are options for a 1-die that does leave some nice routes through with enough elves to cause a problem in the backfield and get that early score.
So, I mean, it looks like Fu's not really interested in letting the elf score quickly and then trying to grind for the 2-1. Otherwise, I don't think I would have been so straight-lined in this defense.
Right.
I think I would have left them the flanks and then pressured them into a quick score.
You think he thinks he can hold out for 1-0 or turn out?
Yeah, I mean, I think his best chance is forcing the elf to score quickly and grind for 2-1. But I think maybe this is the sort of thing he wants to practice.
Maybe. Okay, so now I think we're going to get the sucker back. We're going to.
I mean, honestly, with Khemri
drop
being
back
so
and try
slow,
and pull the Khemri up the field.
With Khemri being so slow, the elves could actually score in probably 5.
Yeah.
And still have a much better shot at scoring the winner than the Khemri do.
Well, it's why I thought he might set up to pull the Khemri up the field. And now I think with the perfect defense result, that is what he is trying to turn this into. Because you're right, 6 is very tight, but 5 gives you 3 nice turns. And still a misfield, a blitz.
Yeah.
Can still get you. Or a pitch invasion that goes your way. I didn't see who got the fame. But could still get you some really, really nice options.
So we're going to see Food with a 4-square roll-up.
Or does he just stand still?
Oh, that's mind games of just... Imagine immediately ending the mind games.
Just saying, yeah, fine. You hang out there, back there. You can't score from there, and you've got to come forwards. And I'm in a really good defensive setup that you've got to find a way of attacking. I've done that before. There's a player on Fumble that famously does this with every single race.
Yeah.
Drops
every
back.
Race?
Every race. And yeah, sometimes I've just clicked end turn and said, come on. The problem is that, of course, with their speed, it means they can send everything down one side.
Yeah.
But even then, if you're a full elf move away, and he is a full elf away, they're only going to get there. They're not going to get through.
And that's it. They have to first move at half range, and then then they're in your range. Yeah.
So it's genuinely a serious option here is just to click end turn.
No, I really wish
you choose where you come back, and then I will sweep that way. He would probably centralise 2 of the 2 Guardians a bit more. But I mean, not click end turn, but to stay there. No, he's moving up en masse, 4 across the pitch, and then fill it out with skeletons. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure I love this, because there's a lot of field to get into behind.
Yeah. Maybe if the second are 2 back rather than 1. He's gone flat.
Yeah, he's going flat.
He's going flat.
Mm-hmm.
What's his expression like? He looks
Bored.
bored.
Although if I was a reader of body language, the hand on the face does also say a level of concern he's trying not to show or to hide. And the V sign I think he's making to you, not me.
Yeah, I don't like this.
No, I quite liked rearranging where he was and say, fine, waste a turn coming back. Oh. I mean, it's hard to attack, but
I think I would have had the skeleton line like maybe 2 behind the Tomb Guardian so that there wasn't really a pocket to run into if there is a gap. He's got the POW.
yeah.
And now is this a 3+2+3?
I would. I'm a second behind you, so don't give it away.
Okay, I won't.
But again, coming right from the edge, he hasn't really got the moves. It's go for it as well as dodges. That's the problem, to get anywhere off the line. Oh, and it does dodge through. But as I said, it was 2 dodges and a go for it to get even that far. And now he can put something dodgy through. You see, it's nice to hit with the blitzer, but sometimes to hit with the dodger, yeah.
I'm a second
You've got
ahead
the
of you
dodger
there,
through.
yeah. You didn't get the second one through.
So sometimes you've got to risk hitting with something that isn't your hitter because of what you wanted to do afterwards. But it worked with the first one. Now that makes holding the line a lot harder.
Yeah, even that 1 elf going through now starts to break that lineup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he gets pushes on, if he tries to blitz it and gets pushes, there's a good chance it only needs a 3-2 to get out.
And now those Tomb Guardians are so far upfield that even if you get a few through and then just long throw into space, what are the Khemri going to do?
Sneaky sidestep.
If you can get 3 elves through, one of whom has the ball, you don't have to let them hit the ball. You can throw the ball up the field, and then any of those 3 can get to it next turn.
Yeah, I think he's overcooked this.
I'm not loving any of this at the moment.
Player than he is, but I think he's overcooked this. And he's not going to be able to trap this guy even now. So he needs
No, he can stop easy forward progress, but he can't stop all forward progress if he wants to make it.
And whatever's going to turn this game from a horizontal to a vertical game.
Yeah.
And elves love a vertical game.
Absolutely.
Anything slow hates it.
Anything strung out along the pitch is good for them.
I can't remember who I was chatting to. I think it was either Hellboy or one of his teammates at UKTC, and he'd been talking to Podfree, and Podfree was saying, if you've got something slow like Dwarves or Khemri, just hold the line. Like, don't break it up, just hold the line. They're not going to get through as long as you hold the line. And I feel that Food has voluntarily not held the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Evening, Threk.
Yeah, that's very nice. That creates a lot of space down that other flank now. I think we're 3 2+s from a real big problem here. I think if 3 more elves can get away and join that ball, KFoged is probably screwed to stop the score. Now, these dodges need to work. You'll know if they do. Yep, first one's fine. Already problematic for the Khemri.
Yes, Thoric, this is Purple Chest. We decided that as Food is playing, he should not be commentating because we would just keep putting him off.
Evening Throwback. Yes, I'm moonlighting, mate.
Mars has returned. Mars, you fluky. No wonder you're typing all caps. Because I checked the score with 20 minutes to go, mate.
KFoged just dipping out of the shot there to do a big line of cocaine. If he comes back with white on his face now, it is going to be genuinely... No, but he is sort of rubbing his nose. I swear he's a secret coke fiend.
He is going to dodge the guard.
Yeah.
Tomb King.
I think it's his best option. I think he's going to get as much back as he can first, which is going to be not very much. But then I think that's going to be the play because it's the only thing that works.
I think Food has inadvertently shown us how you don't play this against this fade tactic.
Yeah, so that elf, I'd have been double marking that Tomb Guardian with one between it and the ball.
Yep.
Because you have left that dodge, and if that dodge works, and even on a 6, it's a 1 in 3. I sound like El Duderino. I'm not taking that as a compliment. Anyone called El Duderino does no business sounding like me. Unless El Duderino happens to be cool, which somehow I'm not sure it is.
So Food has not gone for the Tomb Guardian dodge. He's gone for something.
Yeah.
Trying to trap that elf in, I think.
I don't think he's got the material and speed to do so, but...
No, I agree.
Perhaps he's just looking to try and get some damage. Well, you got a KO out of it. Though those haven't done him very well so far. They keep coming back. Oof. And some irrelevant skulls to end the turn. Yeah, I don't think he's handled this defense particularly well, sadly. So the Earl's going to score in 13 and leave themselves 3, which is pretty much exactly said was the danger, where Khemri can't do a lot in 3, and there's lots of good options for the Elves. It's a reasonable point to say in the first half, when the Khemri got the ball and got it safe in a cage, the Elves should just have thought, okay, well, it's a second half game now. Because Khemri getting the ball in hand and into a cage is half of Elves' fun. They find it so hard to do that basic start.
And yeah, like we said before, if Ever scores on 10-13, that's pretty damn good for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in some ways you could argue that's a better outcome than scoring in turn 12. Or sorry, turn 10. And I think KFoged's looking at a draw as best case scenario right now. Oh, I'm not sure I'd have done even that dodge before I moved the ball. Loving that. Oh, he's handing off for the extra pace.
So I know that's a 1 in 36 fail, and
Yeah.
it's right to get him in range, but I would not have handed off, and needlessly against the sideline.
Yeah.
Because if you double 1 and the ball falls 1 square forwards, you can pick it up and score. You fail the 1 in 36 on the sideline. We've all seen this. We've all had this happen to us.
Yep.
And then it
bounces out, goes
yeah.
somewhere that you absolutely don't want it, and the Khemri pick it up, and it's 2-0.
So FA8K Zombies asks, what should the Khemri coach, who's KFoged, done to have stopped this? And we think it's just keep the game horizontal. Just keep that straight line. Don't feel the need to press into the Elves and get your line all messed up. And keep some distance as well, so that the Elves have to move forward into your range rather than you moving forward into their range. So, yeah, there was one turn, especially where I think Food would have been better off, like maybe flipping a few people round, but in general could have just pressed enter immediately and just said, "Well, come at me."
Yeah, and it would have cost the Elves a whole turn to advance back into the range they want to be, which is about 3 or 4 off your defensive line.
Yeah.
When they make the break, they can get some people through and get them 2 or 3 spaces beyond the line without using too many go-for-its and ridiculous dodges.
Yeah, sorry.
And it just would have bought in some time, would have seen where the attack was likely to come a bit better. And he could have had his defense a bit more set. I mean, some people would say leave a tackler back or leave something mobile with move 6 back so that anything that comes through you can advance onto rather than having to run backwards towards. But it thins your defensive line at the same time, so you're also creating more risk.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have had anything right back, but maybe 3 players, a couple of squares back.
Yeah.
It's still part of that line defense because you can't, it's extra dodges if you want to go through. But it's just another way that they can't just chip one guy and then dodge through and be completely free.
I also felt when he broke the line, it was another time to possibly, as the Khemri drop back and re-maintain that defensive line somehow. Hit the one that was through and drop back to that level, whereas instead he tried to commit forward.
Yeah, that was definitely the key one. Had he dropped back at that point, he probably would have been fine. But yeah, he threw all 4 Tomb Guardians forward. You can see 2 of them are completely out of the game now. And the other 2 are behind the pace. And yeah, the best thing that the Elves want is to score in turn 13.
Yep, which they're now very set to do.
The Khemri can't realistically score in 4 turns. And if something goes wrong, the Elves definitely can score in 3.
And there's so much that can go wrong with a kickoff that Khemri are receiving. Oh, you can't use the reroll, can you? I don't quite understand why. Surely you need to save those to try and get that move forward. We're going to have to see a much riskier Khemri offense this time, even if he does get the ball up. Yes, I don't love using that reroll, I'm afraid. I don't think there's any chance of the elves stalling up and settling on the draw.
I don't not sure.
Why we saw the handoff. I don't understand that reroll at all.
Oh, no, he's not doing it. He's not going for the go for it. Maybe because he's only got one reroll left. Maybe,
but that's a score in 14 with only 2 turns left, and despite all of that pace, that's really, really tight, even if something goes wrong.
Yeah, I think this is settling for the draw.
I think it is, and I think that's not brave. I know he's only got one reroll left, but
there's a lot of good players in this division.
There is, and as we said, a 2-point division means a draw is not bad collateral. It's whereas a loss really does cost you. A draw, at least you're on the points, at least you're on the board. I don't think anyone's going to win a division without at least one draw. So
maybe, or on the other hand, maybe you need to beat that many good players. Maybe you need to go for it a little bit.
We talked about this pre-game, didn't we? The risk of failure sometimes means we don't try for success when we really should. He's got the elves. He's still got a full team. He's still got one reroll. Khemri are terrible at receiving kickoffs. They don't have any plus agility, of course. So it's AG2, a blitz or a misfield, and suddenly you win the game. I don't love this stall, and I think it's a shame. We could have seen a much tighter finish. Of course, there's still that chance. 2 turns is still enough to turn the Khemri over and get the win.
And maybe as well, like he's not getting blitzed in the corner. Maybe he tries to first go for it diagonally down left of where he is now, so that if he does,
yes, away from the side for a change.
And if that fails, right, maybe stop.
Then you stop. Yeah, then you stop, because then you haven't got the reroll, which you really want if you're attacking a kickoff. So then you give them even one less turn, even, or perhaps even 2 less turns, and just accept the draw. But if you've got the reroll in hand, 2 pluses to give yourself 3 turns and a reroll and a full team of elves, surely that's the play. But it's easy to be negative when you're watching someone else.
Oh, it's so easy commentating. It's so easy. Well, I cam dubs. I played PW and went for this really convoluted attempt at some Roxy dodging and things and everything to win the game. And then afterwards, I just noticed that I'd forgotten that the guy carrying the ball can assist a block. And so what I thought was a 1-die block was actually a 2-die block, because Roxy with the ball, I just, in my mind, was not providing an assist. It's so
right.
done. Of course, you're commentating, you see that all day long. You're playing.
Yes. No, sometimes you just miss things.
No, Justy. Good to have you here in chat, mate.
Yeah, and I see you, Justice.
See you in Lutece.
And yes, Scurameso, I deliberately do pick a ringtone that is 30 years old. And that way, when my phone rings, I know it's mine. Rather than some joyful piece of music that will instantly be out of date. If it's already out of date, then it can't go more out of date. Yeah, the Khemri really haven't had a lot of joy getting the elves off the field, have they?
No. And Ever's done well. He's used a lot of straight line defenses. He's prevented too many elves from getting pinned. He's used sidestep well. So whilst Food's definitely been happy not to break the armor more often, Ever has played a part in that.
Yes, you can't break armor if you can't hit them. Excuse me, a little tickle in my throat. Sorry about that. That's better.
So, Demi, do you think you've got coronavirus?
No, I don't. I hope.
So, I don't have coronavirus either, but I had to go into self-quarantine
Oh.
for 2 weeks because I did come back from China as it all kicked off.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well,
Ever's not brave enough for the go for it, but is brave enough for the handoff.
Yeah, why? No one's getting SPP. This is not.
Yeah.
And again, it means another stall, so we're not even seeing an attempt to win.
Yeah.
Which I think is.
I think he had a good shot at that. I think the Khemri weren't.
Why I would ever.
It was a safe.
Elves somewhere. I wonder if behind that hand KFoged is KFoged is secretly laughing to himself.
Or if he's awake.
Thinking, I thought I was going to lose this, and now get a draw.
Oh, he's finally got an injury. His expression remains exactly the same. Well, this is a thing. Evers just let him in there.
Yeah, I'm very confused. I don't know if you can hear me. My connection seems to be a bit iffy at the moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can hear you perfectly. And now, well, he can pin up the other elf, so now Ever's best chance is a 3+.
Yeah, it's I have to say I've been very confused by the pro elf play this half. I thought he dropped too far back in that first turn. I'd have got out of range of the Tomb Guardians, but not out of range of the Skeletons, and tried to suck him in that way. And as we said, that left some options for just a straight line defense on the halfway line and say, "Come get me." And then I don't see why he didn't try and score early-ish when he had that chance with 3 turns to really do the elf thing.
Yeah.
And that final handoff and stall is just bizarre.
Nice KO'd. I mean, it doesn't matter, but oh my god. So,
I think he can claim to have had the worst of the dice, slightly. But in a very conservative first half, we've then been matched with a hilariously conservative second half of Elves, which I bemuses me. But I guess he was trying to hold on for that guaranteed draw, but instead he's jeopardised even the draw. It's weird.
so he makes the 3+,
Yeah.
and it is 1-1.
He did. I mean, that was a 1 in 9 fail, wasn't? But really, you're going to leave a 1 in 9 fail for the draw? It seems weird. And now you've got 1 turn, so in a blitz, you've still got a chance at the win, but it's a really low chance.
Yeah.
You've still got your reroll, so you must now be thinking, "Oh, if only I had 2 more turns." And you did. You had 2 more turns.
Yeah.
Again, it's so much easier when you're watching other people make what feel like mistakes.
So much easier.
Yeah, I'm not loving the new mantra of there are no dice, because when I started playing on tabletop, I had to buy some, and hence I know there's dice. Definitely there are dice. In fact, I've recently bought some dice. Online, I went and had 200 dice made. It's at the UK Team Championships.
How often you throw them away?
No, though I did play a guy once who at the start of the game pulled out about 120 dice, and then
Right.
only used each one once.
Oh my god.
And it moved from, they had a big pile on the left, and as he rolled each one, he would roll it, and then on the right of the board. And we went from 100 dice one side to 100 dice the other. It was hilarious.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I wanted to take a picture, but I felt it would be slightly rude. Like the Victorians turning up to Lunaca's Islands just to point and laugh. Now, is there any hope of a Khemri 2 turn, do you think?
No.
Weirdly, the elves have left the sidelines, so he can get some
Gets
people
the
deep.
pit invasion as well.
You see, well, we are prophets.
Although it's... Oh, and it's deep.
It's a deep kick, so...
It's going nowhere.
Look how many elves went down. But even then...
So Food's going to go for the win.
Yeah. Well, why would you not? The elves can't win.
Because the elves can't win, exactly. Food plays this very differently if there's 3 turns for the elves rather than 1.
I don't like hitting this early. I'd have run another skeleton down and given myself at least 2 receivers first, but
yeah,
it was a 3 die, so, worse things have happened.
The plow.
And this is going to give him lots of lovely receivers. He just needs to get the ball. And we're going to have to see a big, long Khemri throw, which are always hilarious. And there just aren't enough elves. There will definitely be a receiver.
Mm-hmm. One, two. Yeah, you can't get the next one. We could go wide and just put one on the touch line on the left. The skeleton, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 go for it. Maybe. No, he's just marking up. He's decided 3 is enough. Can he pick up the ball?
I think he's worried about an elf coming to get the ball carrier because he wants to advance it so far.
Yeah.
That it would leave it in blitz range of a 1 die from an elf. And with the reroll in hand, if it's the elves, that's what I'd be looking to do now, is attack the ball carrier. If it got into anything like range.
So I think Food's that kind of pause before the extra steps. It's just Food double and triple checking the range.
Yeah, he's got his 2 rerolls though. I see absolutely no reason. And again, checking that there isn't an elf coming. That's the elf that would come for him. And hence he's checking the range on it, yeah.
Yeah, the tackle one, yeah. And the 1...
Well, with the reroll, is the 4+3 plus 2+ elf blitz on the ball carrier the way to go? I don't hate it. Because you've got that dice in hand. And you haven't got enough elves to cover the receivers anyway, so
No.
perhaps you go for the ball.
Well, I think you can forget about the receiver over on the right.
What about using the tackler to 2 die uphill the other Tomb Guardian, and then it's just a 3+2+ to blitz the ball?
I think you forget about the receiver, the Mighty Blow Blitzer. I think that's a hell of a fucking throw.
Yeah.
Maybe not
It's the
actually.
wrong side of the pitch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, it's not that bad. I misjudged.
There's 3 receivers. You haven't got enough elves. I would 2 die the Tomb Guardian and then go for the
Double
ball carrier.
He's double 1 to dodge.
Well, yeah.
So it wouldn't have mattered.
No.
It would not have mattered. Is KFoged going to win this?
Oh, if he is, I think Mockery might be due. I think this is it's a short little quick pass.
Oh my god, it's done it! The pass is successful.
Well, this is
got it in.
It's the tripwire that's got to do it now.
Wow.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no wonder he's laughing.
has actually. You go away, food. We need a moment.
That's just hilarious. Ah, that's just wonderful. Well, I've got to say, I don't feel KFoged deserved it, but I do feel the elves deserved it.
Wow.
I think they 100% deserved that to happen to them. I think that
End
was
the stream. That's it. TackleZone Star Division is over. I'm closing it down.
Oh, Jesus, that was silly.
Wow, where did that come from?
I'm going to ask, because now that we've got you on, am I right in thinking you absolutely thought, I'm going to lose this? And then when he started stalling up, you thought, no, I can get the draw. And then suddenly the win came available.
Yeah, there's there's no way, even just scoring halfway, there's no way against 11 elves that I'm scoring in 4 turns. Even just that. The risk of me losing the ball trying to score in 4 turns is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were favouring. That's absolutely. Give himself 3 turns and a reroll and hope you either miss field or there's a blitz or the pitch invasion.
Yeah, not scoring in 2-3 turns, but yeah, scoring with giving me 3 turns or 4 turns. Oh shit. I'll take it. And it helps with the riot and my
take
plus.
that win.
Yeah. It of course helps with riot as well, just for freaking out. Suddenly making it actually not a bad chance, I guess.
Yeah. The pitch invasion, you mean?
Yeah. Suddenly making...
I mean, you were really lucky. It took a lot of elves down, which really helped you out.
It helped being +2 though. I had 2 fame.
Yes.
And there was a lot of elves, leaving him I don't know what he should do. Even if he takes down that player, he's not... I got 2 other players that will be able to do the same too.
No, my option, I liked the 2 die against the Tomb Guardian.
Yeah,
just trying to push it.
Yeah,
and then there was a 3+2+ blitz on the ball.
Yeah, and I couldn't really stay back. I needed to get as far forward as I could.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were thinking the ball carrier hit was definitely the way to defend that. I guess the double one makes it.
Doesn't
Yeah, it would have failed anyway, but it would have. I prefer to fail trying what I think is the right thing.
We talked a bit playing to win the game, try to roll the dice to win the game instead of just make it harder for me to.
Yeah, well, we were all prophets, weren't we? Because I mean, we felt that when he stalled up with 2 to go, that he should have done the 2 go for it. I know he only had 1 reroll left, but if it wasn't used, he then had 3 turns against your 4 with a reroll in team of elves.
And
kick that's a good place to be as elves.
Yeah, and kick to pin me deep at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really try to get rid of that kicker.
Yes. Yeah, as Khemri, it's a skill you really don't. It's not common in tabletop, but you really don't want to see it as either dwarves or Khemri or anything with that really low pace. Because the minute you see kick and it's elves, you think, brilliant, they're going to kick deep and then they're going to rush through somehow and try and get 3 or 4 between the ball and where I need it to be.
Yeah.
And then you're in trouble if they do.
Every extra player that KFoged wants to drop back to help prevent the kick going into a nasty place, there's 1 fewer on the line that's stopping the stream of elves coming through. So
absolutely,
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, there's almost no good answer to it. We did wonder, one question that we were left with is when you advanced, I didn't love it. I thought you could have just stayed exactly where you were. I thought it dropped too far back and you could just have rearranged exactly on the line and said, right, come to me.
Yeah, I kind of liked, at least again, if he didn't break for it, it would still take him longer to fight back. I might should have stopped in the middle between the 2 things instead of going full 4 squares forward.
Yeah,
I should probably just have stopped in the middle. It did still take 1 dice and a pow.
Yes,
and
it did.
A lot of
and 3
a lot of
2
dice
to get through.
We were hoping that you were going to play the mind games of just immediately ending your turn.
I was thinking.
He dropped so far back that to advance, it was the full move of his fastest elves to get to your line.
Yeah.
So he'd have to have spent a turn arranging where he was going to attack.
I think it would have left us with the same. Then he's rearranged. I couldn't really stop him from getting one dice somewhere to do some
No,
2+2
no.
blessing.
So you need one more Tomb Guardian to do that, don't you?
Yeah, that'd have been nice. But yeah, I think I could have been at least maybe like marching slower down to him.
So we've rolled into round 2 for that
Yes.
that league, which means
You
my
will
Bretonians are against
Zulu.
Sichokiemni.
So this
Zulu, I
Zulus.
think I've played before.
Yeah, so Norwegian, or English Norwegian. Resident in Norway. I've got Hagrim.
Oh, that's going to be a good match.
And Beppe and Mars is playing.
That's going to be a very easy game for Beppe.
Pandibot. Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, especially when he decided to go for it. Khemri is just so slow getting back to those elves was just a pain.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like one of your Tomb Guardians just gave up running back.
Yeah, I just went, I'm not coming.
I just thought I'll just roll off the pitch now.
Yes, the Gary Lineker way of dealing with it. It's all too far away. My job's up this end.
Yeah. It's
What was the feeling when he stalled again and you knew you could get something in next to the ball?
It seems silly. Giving me leaving. The thing is,
it wasn't our favourite move of the game. We have to admit. I'm sure.
Of course, there's the fake case. It's nerves of steel catcher. So if I don't break armor, it's still just a 2+ with a reroll to score.
Yeah.
But I break armor, then suddenly a 3+ with a reroll to score. But we're back again. By then, it seems yeah. I preferred him playing for the win against Khemri.
Yeah, I'm bemused. I couldn't understand. I mean, I guess 2 points for the win has probably done it. It's made people more draw happy. But surely, with a full team of elves still, and why take 13 elves if you're not thinking I'll still have a full team of elves and I can do things with that?
Yeah.
It feels like you've built them one way and then played them a completely different way, to me. But he's not here to defend himself, and as we kept saying, it's much harder to make the decisions in the game than it is to talk
It
about
is.
people.
It definitely is. But it's I was thinking the same if you have 11 elves. Anna was trying. It was not for lack of trying to hurt elves.
No, you didn't get a lot of luck on the armor.
Yeah, it was such a long time ago. I forgot how you got greedy at the end of the first half. I think you had 100% of chat and 2 commentators against you at that moment.
It's. I got it.
We all do it.
Especially in this situation, I can hit both the guard and the leader.
Yeah.
Like if it's been 2 random linemen, no way. But this gave me I had the chance to hit his 2 most annoying elves at the same time.
Yes. Plus, also, you did have at that point 3 elves off the pitch, 2 KO'd and 1 badly hurt. So any other removals did mean there was a chance of him being short-handed, but of course they all came back.
Yeah. I think it was worth trying with a reroll in the bank as well for the 3 dice. Yeah.
I've quad sculled so many times in my life.
Me too, but again, it's Khemri, and against elves, you need all the help you can get.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. And it was fairly safe hitting either blocks, but we were still all going, why? What score? Why?
Yeah. Tried a couple of fouls, that was not working either. Oh. So, no, it's a bit weird.
So is Temeg Togepeto is that ever?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Hello, mate. Yeah, that was what a hot end. I've said it before, but it's worth saying again. Food is a bad person.
There's nothing like the Khemri pass play.
Oh, filth. Absolute filth.
But even that was a 1 in 4 fail, wasn't it? It was a 4+ with reroll, so...
Yeah. I do quite like the fade tactic to throw people off guard. Because I find that when you present other players with like a tactical challenge, they know what they need to do. It's just solving the puzzle. When you present them with a strategic challenge of like, well, okay, what the hell do I do here? They can actually make mistakes more often.
Yes, if you can break the normal thought pattern, do
Yeah.
something that isn't expected.
Yeah. I could have gone mod Mighty Blow and Dirty Player route instead. I kind of like the control part of Khemri. Trying to just keep it rolling slowly down the field.
Absolutely.
And it's not like Dirty Player had helped me anything in my fouling attempts this game.
That was a good game though. That was a really good watch.
Holy my, did he make 58 dodge rolls.
Wow, really?
Yeah, if successful 42, failed 16. That's 58. That's crazy amount of dodging.
That is a lot of dodging.
I think it's the right amount of dodging.
Yeah, it makes absolutely sense. It feels a lot, but it didn't feel that many.
If there's one thing that still sometimes gets a little salty, it's when you face an elf player who makes 30 dodges in a row. Some of them 3+, most 2+. And then when they start a turn and fail the first dodge, they're like, "Oh, that's so unlucky."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Well, yes, in some ways it is, but really?"
Yeah, it's the type of elf players that cut corners just to get extra movement all the time as well, instead of just only cutting corner when you really need it.
Yeah.
And then they get annoyed when they then roll that double one on something early. It's just,
I know what you mean. Like, I know this is statistically bullshit, but I like to think about all the dice rolls I'm going to make are predetermined, and I imagine them as a long row of dice stretching out into my future, and there are double ones at various points. And so my job is to roll a fewer number of dice as possible, so that I don't hit that double one in my future, or hide it in things like block dice. Because you keep cutting corners, that it's going to hit you eventually.
Yeah.
Well, it should, but Blood Bowl isn't a fair sport, is it? Or else it would. But it's a should, not would.
But it happens, and then they get annoyed when they're used to it working.
Yeah.
I don't mind people being lucky. I mind them absolutely not appreciating that, or not even seeing it.
Yeah, it was a perfect defense. Didn't make scoring fast better. But the thing is, you don't really need to score fast, because that gives me too much time. If you leave me with 6 turns, I can drive safely. But if you can score like midway, then it's really annoying for me, because then I still need to protect the ball.
On the commentary team, we both really liked the drop back. We were originally debating, should you go for the 2-turn score, or should you try and suck him up the field and score in 5? And when the perfect defense made the 2-turn impossible or really difficult, we liked the idea of dropping back. I thought you dropped a little too far back, and then you definitely had a good chance to score in 5 and still have a re-roll in hand and a full team of elves. I guess we were just a bit confused. You chose to stall up and draw.
Yeah, so Tematoga Petho, what we're saying here is if you score in 2, that gives Food 7 turns. It's basically a normal drive, and he'll just grind you for a 2-1. If you leave him 4 turns by scoring midway through, it's not enough for him to score reliably. So then maybe he doesn't try and score at all. But you still, because you're so much faster, you have time to score, and he doesn't have time to score. So
a misfield, a deep kick, a blitz, all good for you.
Yeah.